Welcome everyone to the Asian Voices Radio podcast, where you'll find real Asian American conversations, including all the topics you are too afraid to ask your Asian parents. I'm your host, Sheena Yap Chan. We have two special guests from the Lingzi Foundation, and for those of you who do not know what that is, it is a nonprofit organization based in Boston, Massachusetts, formed by the family of Liu Lingzi, who perished during the Boston Marathon bombing attack, to persevere and perpetuate Lingzi's life example. The foundation provides opportunities to those who share Lingzi's ambitions and dreams to enrich their lives, open their minds, and break down barriers by learning from her positive spirit, unparalleled work ethic, perseverance, and humanism. And today I have two people from the Lingzi Foundation, Helen Zhao, who is the executive director, and Ryan Winters, who is one of the board members. Helen and Ryan, welcome to the show. Would love to hear a little bit more about you and what you do. And let's start with Helen.
Hello, Sheena. This is Helen, and thank you so much for having us here. Since we heard this news, me and Ryan just so excited to get to know you and talk about our Lingzi Foundation. So finally, we're here. Just thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you very much. As Helen said, I've been a member of the board and a runner for Team Lingzi, running various marathons and half marathons since 2017, raising funds in Lingzi's memory. And I've been very honored to work with Lingzi's family. And we're very, very excited to have this opportunity to speak with you today.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I know, Helen, you are Lingzi's aunt, right? And I know you've been through a lot. You went to trial as well when all this happened. I'd love to hear, a little bit about, how you got involved in the Lingzi Foundation and why it was so important for you.
Right. So back in 2013, so April 15th. So when this thing happened, I mean the details, there's a lot of details, but just from a family standpoint, so the heartbreaking is beyond devastation. So, but I want to share more about just the aftermath when this tragedy happened. We surprising, just shocked us how much love we receive from the community, especially around Boston area. It's a truly overwhelming and a humbling experience. And from that point on, the family, we got together. We just felt like we want to give back to the community. So that's the foundation of why we even start the foundation, the thought process. And so then we will have a lot of people help. So we set up this foundation, and gradually we get different people involved, and we have a great team. And we start from small and, gradually do different things, involved with different organizations around Boston area. And also actually a couple of them is, as one is in the West Coast. So it's an experience, it's a learning curve for us too. We all new to foundation. So, but it's the drive, to giving back to the community, to honor Lingzi. Because she just such a driven hard worker and such a just beautiful child. I have to say that, really feel bad for, she lost her life at young age under that circumstance. It's just a tragedy. So we just felt like if we can preserve her spirit where she lost, and to continue her spirit by giving back to the people, helping other people to have the same opportunity like her, pursue their dreams whenever they want to be. That's our ultimate goal.
I love that. And it's such a difficult thing to happen, right? I mean, especially through the bombing, right? I had two family friends who literally left right after the bombing happened. Like they finished the marathon that day and then flew back to Canada. And
Wow.
I remember my friend telling me like, "Oh my god, they just literally left. If they stayed maybe about 10 to 15 minutes more, they would have been part of the bombing." So
Wow.
it was really like nerve-wracking and scary at the same time to think someone we know would have been almost there, but here you are, you had someone close to you, pass away from this horrific accident. And here you are creating such a great legacy, not only for her, but to show others what's possible, having her spirit, transfer to other people who need it, who need, to be inspired, to be uplifted, to see their potential, to go out there and do the things that they love. So I really love that you've created this foundation. And Ryan, I'd love to know, how did you get started with the Lindsay Foundation?
Yeah, so as Helen explained beautifully, we're part of what's called the charity team. So when the events of 2013 happened, I'm a native Bostonian myself, so obviously the events hit close to home here, and I wanted to become involved and give back. And I had the opportunity through a group called Charity Teams to be connected with the Lindsay Foundation and Helen. And I was just so inspired just by everything that she shared, that they've been through so much, but the positivity that they show, and wanting to do good works and give back in Lindsay's name was something that, I could really align with. And it's just really been inspiring for me. I really love being a fundraiser for the foundation and running, but just seeing how the family really, really wants to, continue to shine Lindsay's light. And I think that's very important. So it really, really inspires me, and I feel very grateful to be part of it all.
That's awesome. And, Helen, I'd love to hear a little bit. What was it like, creating this foundation? Of course, it wasn't an easy feat. I mean, I'm pretty sure there was some challenges along the way, especially as an Asian woman, right? I mean, sometimes we're not taken seriously, they think it's just a hobby, but I'd love to hear, like, from your perspective, what was it like?
It's a very good question. Actually, I have to say, we're very fortunate. I think that's why it's such a warm, humbling experience, personal speaking. Since the start of the foundation, is along the way, there's just a lot of people helping, all from the attorney, the lawyer, the CP. It's just all what's needed to fund to set up the foundation. Then afterwards, I felt whenever we need it, we have the help. But still, everybody is a volunteering. So it's a small foundation, and we use you know our own time to do this. Everybody have full-time job, so it's growing slowly. But I just so fortunate. I feel we have a group of people, not just Asian, because I we don't want to be categorizing the foundations Asian, something to do with, has to do Asian stuff, or it's for everybody. It's for the communities, because when Lindsay lost her life at the time, um, we received the love from everybody, regardless race and nationalities. We're all together. So that's why I think even this instant, it shows the spirit, the human spirit. When a tragedy happened, human spirit really shines. So as an Asian woman, one challenging a little bit for me is when we're doing programs, like we have this great program, Teach Me to Fish. So we do reach out to other communities, which is challenging for me to teach the other race kids, say African American, Hispanic kids, not Asian kids. I do felt like I have to push myself, make myself feel comfortable to hang out with them, to work with them. For me, it's a challenging, but I think it's important to make that connection to reaching out as an Asian. So that's my experience. There's a challenges, but not because I'm Asian. It's because I need to do more to reaching out.
Yeah, it's not always easy to go out there and reach out, right? Especially
Very
when
hard.
you have Yeah, especially when, you have no idea what's going to happen on the other side, even if they say yes or no. But I always say, if you never ask, the answer is always no, right? And so, at least even if we did get a no, we could even, or maybe, or a yes, at least we went out there and did it. We took action. And, we feel a lot better in the end because we're not thinking, what if I did this? What if I did that? Right? Action speaks louder than words, and you're proof of it. You're here, even though you say it's uncomfortable, you go out there and do it because it's for a bigger purpose, right? You're there to help others out and create that positive impact.
Right. And once you're reaching out and you find out, I felt my experience well the same. Everybody's the same. We love the same thing. We share the same joy and the sadness too. And even the food, um, surprisingly, even when we show them how to make sushi, you would just surprise how many little kids you wouldn't think they would love sushi, but they did. That just it just brings joy to us. It's very it's just fun to work with the kids to share something in common.
Thanks for sharing that. And Ryan, I'd love to ask you, what are some of your favorite things that you've done with the foundation, or was there any like biggest moments in your life when you were like, I'm so glad to be in this organization to create this positive impact?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Thank you so much for asking. One of the things I really love being is a runner for Team Lindsay. I love to run. I've not only run the Boston Marathon, I've run Chicago, the Marine Corps Marathon. And while I run, I do it, I'm also raising funds. So for me, I really enjoy, while I'm raising funds, I get to spread awareness about the foundation. So for me, it's not just about the fundraising, it's about spreading awareness of the foundation. I'm here on the West Coast, even though I'm a native Bostonian. So I really love using social media to share about what the foundation is doing. As Helen was just explaining, that great program we have, Teach Me to Fish, sharing about that online and letting our donors and supporters know that these are where your funds are going. This is how, you're supporting us and we're giving back to the community. So I think for me, the biggest moments is when I am, of course, running the marathon, running those miles. Sometimes it's it can be tough especially when you hit the upper mileage there. But I keep in mind and remember, the journey and, why I'm running. And I think of all my donors and what we're able to do as a foundation with running. So I think being a Team Lindsay runner, I'm on the board, but being a runner as well has really been something that's been very meaningful for me with the foundation.
I love that, and I know it's a great feeling when you can see little kids smiling and being able to do something that they never thought was possible, right? Showing them,
Absolutely.
yeah, showing them that they can do so many things. They have so many abilities if they just went out there and made the effort, right? And sometimes, we go through confidence issues that really stops us from taking that first step. And here you guys are helping them go through that, because the hardest part of everything is starting, right? Starting is always the hardest part. And so when we can navigate that and help them through that process, it really builds their confidence and they can see what else is possible for themselves. So Helen, I'd love to ask, what was it like growing up for you? Did you grow up in the States or did you grow up in China?
Actually, I grew up in China. I came to the States in the mid 90s for school. So after I graduated, I got a job. So I ended up just, stay here. So when I was here, I think Lynn's only 5 years old. So I didn't get to, hang out with her a lot when she growing up. But when I got chance to go back to China, so I got to see her just it's sad. So just even beyond imagination, it just is a nightmare. Her mother and father, they're very very strong. They're supportive and they're very graceful about the whole situation. It just it really felt something really this tragic, and we turn into something positive. It's a very it's rewarding for them and for the community. It's always felt, like Ryan always said, and we want to see the light of her on the 26.2 of a marathon road. So if we keep doing it, people would think, we serve as a little reminder for people there was such tragedy how many years ago, because the memory do fade, and people forget the pain start to not that sharp pain, so life move on. But if we're here, I feel every year that means something when we have a team links on the run, in the running. That's what we like to do, continue to do. And so Ryan is not a perfect example, just say how this foundation growing. Um, all the foundation members, volunteers, is always along the way. We get to know them, Ryan, from strangers to friends. It means the world to the family, to us. Somebody completely stranger, and fall in love with what we do and become the biggest supporter. So for that, I really thank everybody who support the foundation and all the donors too. I hope we can continue to do good work and make them proud.
Yeah, I'm sure, you are making so many people proud of the things you've done and, changing so many people's lives. But I'd love to know, what are some of your fondest memories of Lingzi? I'd love to know, what was she like? What was her personality?
Yeah, right. Lindsay, she was yeah, she was hard worker. She since she was young, she has his goal set. She very driven, hard worker. Always school. That's how is it? That she just but in personal life, like she's more like a bubbly girl. She talk, and it's a very wholesome. That's her word. It's just the wholesome girl have a big dream, and came to this country pursuing her dream, and she love food. She is a foodie. She was a little foodie, and so that's why we believe, she loves the food. So we want to do something. We also believe food bring people together. Cooking together, eating together. That's what love is about. So that's one, like, teach me to fish. That's why we start that program. And also, she's just typical girl, love beautiful stuff, and love music. She plays piano. She play piano too. Um, it's a very wholesome, hard work. Um, just very love the. I say it's she just love everything's beautiful in this life. They say the structure, the building. When she told me she first arrived to Boston, she loved Boston. She told me every corner she turned, she felt it's a picture perfect. So she deeply fell in love with Boston. That's why I also felt like since she lost her life here, while we start, let it continue, to keep her spirit alive here.
I'm glad you're able to share some stuff about Lingzi. I'm
Yeah,
sure if I've met her, we'd probably bond over the love of food as well, because I'm also
absolutely.
a huge
Last
foodie.
Actually, that morning, and she had a picture. She was making a nice breakfast with her roommate.
Hmm.
That's, I think, the last picture she posted. So yeah, she was a little foodie. She just appreciate the food and appreciate family get together over food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you're able to share some
Hmm.
wonderful things about her. Like I mentioned, it's such a shame, she passed away at such a young age. I think 23, right? Was
Right.
when she passed away. But her spirit lives on, and it's and you guys are part of the reasons why it's still here, and she's still, we can still feel her spirit because you're doing such amazing things with the foundation. Ryan, I'd love to ask, how's it like fundraising for a nonprofit? I'm pretty sure it's not always fun. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I'd love to know, like, what are some challenges you've gone through, or some moments you've been able to achieve?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that. Especially during the last 2 years during COVID, it's definitely been a challenging time for anyone who's in fundraising. But yeah, we've had to kind of at times, they say, reinvent the wheel with fundraising strategies, and I try to do fun things. I like to run half marathons when I'm training for a marathon. So I'll do things such as like a medal giveaway, to try to encourage and do like a raffle. So everyone who donates during a certain time, I put their name in a raffle to encourage them to donate. But yes, it's there are, as you were saying, the ups and downs. But for me, it's keeping that end goal in sight. And it's important for me just to, as Helen was touching upon, keeping Lingzi's memory alive, and the work that we're doing and all the fundraising. That's what's motivating me. So when I'm having those difficult days, and even this year, to be honest, it was, I'm excited to be part of Team Lingzi, but, knowing with COVID and the ongoing pandemic that it is difficult fundraising. And, there's a lofty but great goal I have right now of 8,500 to raise. And, when I first made this decision in late December, it's a shorter lead time because the race is in April. And, thinking like, oh, okay, that's, I know I have my, my supporters, but that's a lot to raise. However, you'd be surprised at the people who are willing to, open their hearts and help you along the way. Right now, I'm at just about 50% of my goal. I still have a ways to push, but it's just, I think that it's great to see that people can, when they see our work, they can align themselves with it. And, they really understand what we're doing, and they want to help support us in our mission. So I think for me, it's just, again, about trying to do some creative, fun things, if I think of outside of the box thinking. And then also, like I said, reminding people of where their funds are going to. I think that's so important. It's not just about posting a link, it's sharing, this is what we're doing, this is the impact we're having. And then also, keeping on the forefront of everyone's mind that this is for Lingzi. It's important, very important to me, that as the years pass, being a native Bostonian, and Helen and her family, Lingzi loved Boston, and just showing them that we'll never forget, as a community, as the state, as not even just Massachusetts, outside of Massachusetts. So for me, it's even when things get a little difficult, it's remembering that end goal in mind, keeping that end goal in mind.
Thanks, Ryan, for sharing that. We almost forget that we're still in a pandemic, right? And those are always the most challenging times, especially, I'm pretty sure, for you, Helen, like during the programs during the pandemic probably wasn't always the easiest thing. What did you guys have to do to pivot to still help the community out there see, their potential, even have Lingzi Spirit live through this pandemic, right? I'd love to hear some of the things that you guys had to do.
Yes, we did. So 2000. So we have this 5K every year. Besides marathon running, this 5K is another running event, gather the communities. So we become 2020. We did, so 2 years we use the we not on do the site. So everybody do their own, but we have this in Boston, outskirts Boston, Lexington area. There's a lot of Chinese runners, and there's a running group called BAN. So there's a lot of Chinese is around that area, part of that group, part of the BAN group. So we so 5K is there are people do in their own neighborhood, but we also go. BAN has their own little gathering run together. So 2 years in a row, so I went there. So it was it was fun to see our own community support Lingzi Foundation to actually more and more we connect more with the other Chinese communities, like so like there are a few towns there, they're very active. Another thing is we did a couple programs, but unfortunately all over Zoom. Even Teach Me to Fish this program in 2019 we did in person, which was fun. When I me, my mom, my daughter, we taught them how to make dumplings in person. Oh my gosh, that's fun. But so 2020, last 2 years we did Zoom, which is a different, but it's also great because we deliver the food. Our partner Boston Pal, the police officers deliver the food ingredients to the family, and the kids cooking with their family, the mother, siblings, which is another great actually to bring their family together, have the opportunity to cook together. And so it turned out to be a great experience too. So that's so anything we do most likely over Zoom, but it's also just I felt it's still very good experience for kids or for our foundation. Also, in 2020, in height of a anti-Asian, problems, so we also participate with all the Boston area, those rallies, stuff. So we connect with Boston area, the schools. We in May, which is the month for Asian. So we read the books. We select 3 books written by Asian authors. We're able to use Zoom, connect with the school librarians, and read to the little kids. So just to share a little bit our culture, different Asian cultures. So yeah, we hope we continue. We're gonna do that every year, by just sharing. So that's another thing I feel I'm reading to a little kids, which I haven't done for many years. That's nerve-wracking too. But it was fun. The kids ask good questions, which is, very rewarding to us. Yeah, it's hard without the in-person contact. Touch is hard, but we tried.
I love that. I love that you mentioned for Teach Me to Fish series. You had food delivered to the families, right? And I'm pretty sure the families were very appreciative because it helped them give something to do with their families, especially when we were all locked down and we had no clue what was going on. And sometimes it's a nice escape from everything, right? A nice escape to just spend time with your family, to kind of let go of all the stress that you have, to have a nice meal, to have that experience. And it's amazing how, just having internet connection can really help us still connect with everyone from around the world, whether it's the US, Canada, or Asia. Being able to provide these programs, being able to provide this connection as much as we can, because yes, having human connection, in-person connection is a totally different experience. But we had to learn to pivot. We had to learn to be resourceful at a time when everything was just such a blur. And so I really love that you were able to do that for the kids. And I'm just curious, what are some of your upcoming projects?
So right now so we just finished the Teach Me to Fish, the third, which is second Zoom, over Zoom. So right now we're focusing on fundraising for the upcoming the marathon. So we gather with the runners. We try to help them pump them up. So then it's a 5K. Because our programs basically, want to continue to, maybe I think in another month or 2, we will have another series, Teach Me to Fish. I think last class, the kids just very excited. So they're, looking forward to another one. So we're hoping to have another class, another session. Typically, we have 6 to 8 classes. Just have more kids, give them some exposure or opportunity to hang out with their family, to do some of the cook some of their favorite food. It's that's really is our main program. And in May we're gonna do another we call book Lindsay's book club. Basically, we're gonna pick another 3 books. We'll share with the schools.
Awesome. I can't wait to see that. And, to Helen and Ryan, if there was one tip you'd love to give to listeners out there to go out there and forge their own path or even create their own foundation, what would be that one tip be? We'll start with Helen.
Yes, I think whenever we do, you have to believe in it. I think it's you truly have to believe in it. Then you have the drive to try your best. That's, I think, is everything. If you believe your product is good, then you can sell. So it's a foundation. If you believe the cause, and then you can put your heart and soul into it to make it happen. That's really why I think if you want to start foundation, you have a cause, you're passionate about it, and do it. When you do it, start small, little by little. You don't have to be big, but I really think the big impact doesn't need a lot of money. Sometimes it's small project, but you reach a lot of people. You'd be surprised.
And then I would say that was beautiful, Helen. And then just to surround yourself with people who have the same passion for your foundation. Because even when you hit difficult times, we say we're small but mighty because we all really believe in the foundation's mission and each other. So that really, really keeps you going. So I think that's really key. In addition to what Helen said, is surrounding yourself by people who believe in the same mission, and you can all work together towards that same goal.
Well said, Ryan. Absolutely. You need to cultivating a group of good people around you. That's really, really important. You can help each, because sometimes, some days is not always you motivated to do, a lot of things. You need people picking you up, help you out.
Thank you so much, Helen and Ryan, for being on the show today. If you can let them know where they can connect with you, and also your fundraising page, if you could share that with us.
Excellent. Yes, thank you so much. So I will be running the Boston Marathon on Monday, April 18th. I will be sharing the link with you to be able to post and share, where it explains more information about the foundation, my mission with the Lingzi Foundation. And once again, both Helen and I are so, so grateful for the opportunity to speak with you today.
Thank you for having us. We're just so excited to have our West Coast audience get to know our foundation a little bit. And thank you for having us here. It's a great, I love the conversation.
We'll definitely have all that info on our website. And I want to thank our guests, Helen and Ryan, for joining us today. To learn more about the Lingzi Foundation, please visit thelingzifoundation.org. If you have any suggestions for future guests or topics, we'd love to hear from you. Also, be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Asian Voices Radio is produced by Asian Culture and Media Alliance, a nonprofit that empowers our API community with a voice through media arts. If you would like to support our program and make a donation, please visit AsianVoicesRadio.com. Thank you for listening. I'm Sheena Yap Chan. Please join us next week for another exciting and thought-provoking Asian Voices radio show. Until then, take care, everyone.